unclear. No, maybe, possibly. Hello?
It's bad.
Lobo?
Lobo?
This is a bit awkward, isn't it?
Clip it, chat. Clip it.
Alright, this is what we'll do, right? We'll all just spam her in DMs until she wakes up.
No, stop. There's no way.
I think so.
No way. Hey, what it do, YouTube? It's your boy Q, back with some more Dead by OCE action. This was actually our last game that we got to cast during the Wilted Rose tournament this past month. We're in the losers bracket finals. Going to be seeing who's going to be moving on to face GreensTeam in the grand final. Now, of course, Genesis, we saw beat Purgatory in order to advance to this point in the losers bracket, while Endless made their way all the way through the winners bracket just to fall, unfortunately, a little short in the semifinal. And they're looking to get back into the winners bracket. That way they can seek some revenge against GreensTeam. Of course, first, they do have to get past Genesis. So we're going to be getting started on the suffocation pit with the Vami Mami, quickly moving into the gas heaven for everyone's favorite, the Blight. And then if needed, we'll be going out west to see the deadest of dogs for the Huntress. All right, don't forget to leave this video a like and a comment. That's how y'all can help me try and spread the word about Comp DVD. Of course, that helps us out with that good old YouTube algorithm, potentially puts our content in front of more people. And we are also very quickly approaching 400 subscribers. So don't forget to smack that subscribe button, turn those notifications on so we can catch y'all right back here for the next video. All right, where we talk not just Comp DVD, but even have like discussional videos about like how to fix boons without deleting them, or we even had our most fun recent fun gameplay. Our recent video of Jukes, Doofs, Laughs, and Loops dropped earlier this week. But before we get into this video here, big news from Dead by OCE, as we are not only going to be seeing them make the switch to Twitch, but also going to be bringing an 8-team league to y'all in the upcoming month. So I'll have the links as always for their stuff, not only the Discord, but where you can catch those matches down in the description below. All right, as well as you'll see my personal links as I do stream, and of course I have my own personal Discord, so if you ever want to come kick it, be part of the community, that's going to be down there as well. All right, but let's get back to esports. Genesis versus Endless in the losers bracket final. All right, and until we catch y'all back over here on YouTube, don't forget, man, with everything crazy going on in the world today, be true, be you, be sincere, game hard and love hard. All right, y'all, it's your boy Q signing out. All right, let's take another trip on back into the fog here. So we are going to be seeing Endless versus Genesis. And for this matchup, as we talked about, we were waiting on picks here. We are going to be seeing the Plague here in the first set, the Blight in set number 2. And if we need a third set, we will be seeing the Huntress. Starting on the Plague here, going to be seeing M-Tom for Endless here. And we see that we've found one survivor. We also have a survivor who has already actually started working on one of the gens that had some of the vile purge on it, which means actually another survivor as well. It looks like our survivors aren't afraid of getting sick, but I feel like with such a quick down, that could be a mistake.
Yeah, these survivors just don't care about the purge by the looks of things. We've got Jazzy taking the first hook. Our Nancy is now broken, quickly followed by our Nia. So that leaves only our Ace, who is full health and not touched by the sickness, which is nice. We do see Deadman Switch go off in the distance, though. Tom being such a great M1 killer, I'm really excited to see him perform for us once again, picking up the purge, now able to really proxy this hook with a not an insta down, but a ranged power, which is a really strong start for him. If these survivors want to come in and get the unhook at this point, it's going to be very, very risky. We do see one gen done, and we do see our Nia cleansing in the meantime.
Yeah, so of course with the cleanse, it does mean that you will be able to work on another gen and not have to worry about leaving it sick for someone else to come back behind if you get pushed off of it. And it also gets rid of one stack of the Thanatophobia. So right now only a 10% slowdown versus a 15% slowdown. If I had to guess, they are setting up for Nancy to rotate in for the save, as they are the one survivor that is currently sick, would not be additionally getting sick with the pool. But I mean, honestly, don't. Oh, wait, we got Ace actually moving in for the save, which is big. We've got the borrowed time already expired, obviously, with the connection there going into the locker. The question is this actually decisive strike, or are we baiting it out? Oh, and she slaps him with the D, says drop it in the middle of the map here on Suffopit. Has a lot of resources if that's where we take chase.
Yeah, really, really strong D-strike there. Strong American D-strike from Jazzy. Tom going down here. He does find a survivor on a gen. He will be committing to this chase. He's got quite a nice line of gens down here, so it wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't want to leave this side. He does actually have what appears to be a 4-gen over here, I think, so a really nice place for him to be. If these survivors can use up these resources around main and the surrounding areas, that's going to put Tom in a really good spot. He is going to give some regression to this gen. We do hear another cleanse in the meantime, and we do find a survivor lurking around main. Tom will now chase this Nia. Little bit of puke, walk away. Little bit of puke, walk away. It is a good strat. Really protecting his engines here, though. He is... this is almost vulgar RNG here on the suffocation pit.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, right now, too, with this RNG, what's going to be tough is when the survivors are going to try and slow the game down, going to be able to get some big value from that Call of Brine right now, with not only the bigger reset, but our bigger regression. But if they don't allow the regression and quickly get on the gen, you'll have that very good, easy way to know about it with the notification here. But yeah, this 4-gen on this top side of the map, pretty disgusting, if we're being honest here. We do see the window being taken, though, and the door getting broken down is going to break down the strength of the tile of this main building, because with the main building on Suffopit is pretty strong here. Of course, this window being blocked does kind of break it down just a little bit there. I think we've already got rid of this pallet, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, we just haven't broken it yet. It does create distance for Ace.
Tom does not care. He sees that the survivors have completed the shack gen, leaving him with his 4-gen at main. Limited resources down here. He has Call of Brine to help him with that regression. Thanatophobia for a little bit of extra slowdown. This is a really tough spot for our survivor team. As a plague, the amount of pressure now that Tom can put out by forcing survivors to get sick if they want to enter this area and do gens, there's only a matter of time now before they use all of the pools, and they'll be forced to stealth out his power more than likely. But Tom in a really good place, knowing when to leave chase, when to go back to his gens, and really good game sense here, and it shows.
Yeah, I mean, M-Tom doing a really good job of being patient with the game plan, right? Like, doing just enough, walking over. You could have maybe gotten more sickness onto Jazzy, getting, a stack of Thanatophobia, but then that does cause you to extend that much more, which could potentially have allowed for a survivor to sneak back behind you and be working on a gen. So instead, M-Tom does switch back, checks those gens that they hadn't yet before engaging into chase back here on the shack side. Of course, the only downside to working around a pallet like this is just enough. That's tough. And I think right now you've got to play very safe around this pallet, because you don't want to get stunned and knocked out of your pallet power. And the same thing, we're going to be seeing the down here, but maybe at this point you've allowed enough of the survivors to get over onto this side of the map, or the other side of the map, and start breaking up your 4-gen.
Yeah, really tough spot for our survivors with this RNG. This is definitely Tom's game to lose, in my opinion. The amount of effort it's going to take these survivors to get down here without Tom knowing, and then complete a gen is going to be really difficult. That dead man switch now coming in on that generator as the Nia leaves it. The Call of Brine not going to be taking any effect. Oh! He got dumb teched. It is a live dumb tech, so it doesn't count for the Duke montage. As we all know, we do see the Call of Brine notification in the background. Tom continuing this chase at main. If he can get a hook inside of his gen setup, he's really good to go.
Yeah, the additional hook here would be big. I think the other thing that we're trying to do, there we go, is at least force the second stage of, as far as the health state change onto the Nia before returning over here. That way you get the extra regression on it. Now also whenever somebody returns onto the gen or works on one of the other gens, 20% slowdown thanks to the Thanatophobia. Also, it does look like at this point in time, all of our pools over on the Shack side are corrupt, and it's going to be interesting to see what M-Tom does. Oh,
they
getting
did
this top
one.
gen. They got one done. It'll be interesting to see what M-Tom does here, because you've got plenty of pools to pick from across the map if you want. But one, it requires you to leave your 3-gen, and two, it leaves a pool across the map for then a survivor to move into to be able to cleanse. So I'm going to be interested to see the strategy.
Yeah, me too. With Tom's experience on M1 killers, I'm sure he's got a plan that is working on the survivors trying to get rid of that Call of Brine. They really don't want to have that regression take away the progress from that gen. So we will see them chipping back at it. Of course, with the bans, we're not going to have too much for these survivors to work off in the way of exhaustion perks and things like that. We do see a lie through main. But being injured in this area with such a lack of resources, we're going to see them leaving very early in their communications of where the plague is at which time is going to have to be really clear.
Yeah, and I mean, now at this point, I mean, I feel like you want it down back here in this side of the map, but at the same time, even, just the extra seconds that Nia takes to go into the corner here, when you have 3 survivors, probably at least 2 of them on one of the generators at least, it's so much time that's going to, or at least so much progress that's going into that generator that it really puts the pressure here down onto M-Tom. Yeah, there's going to be generator number 5 getting popped here. We've only got 4 hook states, and I say only 4, but I mean honestly, 4 hook states heading into the end game, pretty solid, pretty about where I think most people would want to be for a plague. I think we had somebody moving in for the save. We've had our entire build exposed, which does mean our team knows that there's no chance for Noah here, no chance for no way out here. Nice blocking of the window with the lunge, trying to count out the borrowed time here to make sure that you were good for your hit. I'm not sure if we were trying to proc maybe a balanced land, or no, we don't have exhaustion perks here, right? So balanced landing wouldn't have been allowed. And I mean, that's just going to be tough. That's another hook state.
I think this Nia was the one with Lithe, if I'm correct. We do see 2 survivors heading on out. Seabass is still floating around somewhere, and he leaves, leaving Tom with the 1 kill on Midgie. Really well played from both sides. I'm really impressed with the survivors able to get that gen situation under control. So really well done.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the job by the survivors, and because of that really good job by them, they actually leave trial number 1 here up 16-4, which means it puts pressure onto the survivors of Endless to need to be able to come out here and really starve this killer of their hook states. Needing to basically limit them to 5 hook stages, and I think one of your people still needs to be fresh hooks, obviously, with the 5, but I think as long as you limit to 5, you're perfectly fine. So we'll see how both sides respond in this next trial. We're going to go ahead and set up this lobby, and we'll be bringing that to you all after a very quick break.
Welcome back. We are heading into the suffocation pit with Seabass on the play, going to try and outperform Tom and his performance previously. We are looking at at deciding who's going to be taking this first set here. Really fast find in the form of a survivor just cruising along the map, and here they are. We're going to start our first chase with a big stun. Say it, Q!
It's done, stupid. Able to build some distance. Is the Meg, it looks like, kind of hung around for a second to make sure that the pallet was broken, and is going to be using the very long tile that is the logs. It looks like, though, unfortunately, getting cut off by the plague, doubling back. Oh, gets done again. That's now 20 wood across the forehead there. However, that's two very valuable pallets over on this side of the map. So also going to be seeing the corrupt purge being picked up here, which of course you have the extra pools of thanks to the green apple, and right now that puts Meg in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, with the Devotee's Amulet as well, you're looking at 20 seconds more of the Corrupt Purge. So that is a big duration that we're going to need to avoid Adira's in. As we can see, quick down there by Seabass. Unfortunately, that vault was probably not the right move, but there's not too much you can do again at the TL wall against a killer with a ranged power. We will be heading on over to the main side of the map and have a bit of an exploration over here where we will see Dead Man's Switch just as our Corrupt runs out.
Yeah, and that Dead Man Switch can be some pretty decent value for you as we get a little bit later into the game, especially if you can play yourself into a 3-gen, as you will only really be able to play yourself into a 3-gen, as we don't see a 4th-gen really slid too far over to the shack side, as that's where the Corrupt was over at, as obviously the 4 that was over more top side going to be very quickly broken up, and there's going to actually be 2 gens now getting complete, but that's also 2 hook states thus far, worth noting. So I mean, right now Seabass in a really good spot.
Yeah, really nice spot, really well played, picking up that power again, and will once again be roaming around the map looking for a survivor, kicking that gen to get some value from Call of Brine. A lot of work being done down here by the survivors. We've got 2 gens completed already, a couple of hooks. Both sides are in a pretty good spot at the moment. It could really be anyone's game.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, right now I think the big thing is like, it's what's big about, I guess, even just comp DBD in general. It's about which team makes the mistakes. Right now, honestly, both sides playing a very strong game, and at this point in time, it's really the pressures on Bazzi to force the mistake on to our mistake from the survivor side. And I mean, we do see across the board 4 people entered. At least you're getting the 20% slowdown from that Thanatophobia right now. We've been able to close the distance. We have an ace, or no, that's not the ace, that was a Felix, right? Felix, they're down onto the ground. And now at this point, it looks like maybe trying to go for a little bit of slug. If you can get a couple people down on this side of the map and build up some pressure here, you can really take control.
100%. A lot of pressure coming out here from Bassi. Seems to just be going from survivor to survivor to survivor. So much pressure. We've got 2 people broken. We've got 1 on the floor who's just now been picked up. Our poor Mathis, he's now up and about, and Bulba, of course, on the verge of illness, as is Mathis now.
Yeah, and this is tough because we lost track of our survivor over here at 5, which then allowed our Felix to get picked up here as well. So this is pressure that we were trying to compound down onto the survivors. They're actually now fighting back. Now, again, we do have the Felix on the ground. This is going to be a hook here. This will be hook number 3 as well. 3rd fresh hook, worth noting. That is going to be a good thing moving on a little bit later into the trial. But I mean, there's our 3rd gen getting popped. We are going to see at this point, what, we still have a 3-gen on this side of the map. So I mean, Seabass honestly vibing right now, I would imagine.
Yeah, he's having a really good game. Again, so much pressure is being put out by him, but these survivors are still managing to get the gens done. and do a lot of really good work to make an escape. We do see Bulba now freshly cleansed and free of the green cooties, which is always wonderful. That will be 100 points for him as well for cleansing, so well done there. We've got Deadman Switch about to run out. We've got Call of Brine, 3 stacks of Thanatta. We're in a really good place now. Another down. It's literally just hook to hook for Seabass.
Yeah, I mean, right now, just kind of the perfect snowball for having a 3-gen over here, right? You've got someone who's constantly in chase, one person who's constantly rotating over for hook, one person on the hook. This hook here going to be in the basement as well. And of course, this basement really being more again in the middle of your 3-gen setup, trying to see right now would probably be a good time to at least push over into that corner gen by where the last unhook was, just to make sure no one's working on that gen. See if you can buy yourself a little bit of dead man switch value, as it looks like that might be what Bazzi opts to do here at this point. However, it sounds like no one's over there, which makes me wonder where our survivors are, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Oh, found one. They were completing the gen on the other side of the map, bringing them down to just 1 gen. So we do have Broken in the basement now. The basement, of course, surrounded by the last remaining gens. So Seabass not really in any hurry to kind of leave here. He will be happy to get another stage out of this. Really tough to unhook in the basement against a plague. While she doesn't have that kind of insta-down power, 1 vomit stream is all it takes. And we do see the last gen getting popped. It's almost like they were waiting for Seabass to come over just to show him that they had completed it. So we've still got Broken in the basement. We are going to be looking at a gate behind the shack right next to the basement. We've got Bulba running in, freshly sick, in no real worry of being broken until this moment. Trying to take a borrowed time hit. Unfortunately, Mathis on the 300 ping. Very difficult to help here. Will be a trade, and we will see Bulba heading into the basement. Possibly not the back hook. Seabass really polite there, putting him on the front hook.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm wondering if maybe they were hoping to catch Bazzi out of position, because essentially what that was it's like a straight 1-for-1 trade, is because Bulba was already hooked once, right? Like you've got Mathis, who that was their first hook. So, Mathis just barely missing the tail end of Seabass's Corrupt there. Corrupt, though, should be able, nope, not making connection. Actually, back here at this pallet, we're seeing the Megan getting sick, and that is because actually there was a save across the way.
That is
right
okay.
now,
Like,
this challenge.
Seabass is going in the
yeah,
Taj.
this is cracked right now. Seabass is having an amazing run. This is now, granted, right now we are going to be seeing extra value from that blue amulet that you had talked about. Extra 20 seconds. Granted, we're only halfway through, but that is going to be a shot from distance here on to Bazzi, which is going to be a hook, but it is a hook by the door here. So maybe if you've got a couple of pools available, maybe you want to try and go for some borrowed time plays, or maybe they're just at that door across the way.
I don't think they'll want to leave Mathis behind. There's no way that they'll want to do that. They could just do a quick drive-by unhook, stealth out the power, but with that extra 20 seconds of duration. Oh, not as... That's pure BM. I mean, it is Seabass. We should have seen the nodders coming early. We will unfortunately be saying goodbye to Mathis, but he did have a really nice chase there at main. A lot of good work, showing that Europeans can indeed come and join us in OCE. Really nicely played from both sides. Really well done getting out of the basement there. And what are your thoughts, Q? What do you reckon?
I mean, honestly, it was a really strong performance by the Plague there. I mean, we had seen, I think, what a lot of people would consider, kind of a typical Plague performance, 5 stages in the first game, but then to be able to come out here. And I mean, we're talking about 8 stages altogether. So you're talking about for the trial, the score is 19-14 in favor of Genesis, which leads to an overall score in set number 1 for Genesis of 35-28. So Genesis will be the one team taking set point number 1, which means we then go to the Blight once again here. Blight on Gas Heaven, and I believe I had predicted that we would be seeing a Blight. Not surprised to see that it is not being waited on until the overtime. So we will go ahead and get that set up for you guys. We will be back with Gas Heaven, Blight here for y'all after a very quick break.
We are heading back to Gas Heaven, where we're going to see Blight for the last time tonight. But rest assured, he will be back tomorrow night, of course. We will be starting out with our double-speed Talbot Grimes, looking to commit some Talbot crimes and take down a survivor. We are going to see them move towards the middle of the map now, trying to locate someone, start the chase as soon as possible. Every second where we are not in chase, that is a generator being worked on.
Yeah, and we do see it looks like we've been able to locate some scratch marks back here at the TNL. Actually, it is a survivor rotating more back towards our shack side. It is the Nia. We do see dropping off. I'm not sure if maybe we were trying to build some distance with the balance landing. There it is, kicking in, building just a little bit of distance. Of course, that's Blight, so he's just going to be able to bounce right up off the wall, close that distance, able to get the M1. And it's tough because right now, where you're at, Nia's kind of right in the smack dab middle of your uncorrupt generators. So not exactly where you want your first chase going on. Definitely not where you want your first down.
No, and not where you want your first hook either. Of course, this one, the Blight on Gas Heaven, we have seen a few times tonight. And all of our games have been entertaining. We are going to see a chase head on into main building, which we saw the strength of. Never mind, we chose to vault away. We didn't want to commit to main too soon. It's a little bit rude to chase main. So we will be heading on away from there as we see our first and second gens pop. Bit of a firecracker there. Unfortunately not able to get the blind, and we will say get to the floor Nancy as she is downed.
Yeah, and that is, of course, on Nancy, going to be the first hook for Nancy. Hook number 2 here for our killer. So both of those being fresh. I'm not sure if that was a survivor I had seen off in the distance, more towards Shack here. We are going to see, actually working through the 4 lane, able to find our way on to the Fang here. And this is going to be big because it looks like Fang is going to be quickly diving towards the hook. Not sure if maybe that is a potential deliverance player, but we are going to be seeing our Nancy stuck with the aggro here from the Blight, counting out to having Alexa setting a timer for 15 seconds to make sure that we don't have the borrowed time hit. Here's the hit in the middle of the pallet space, however. Not sure if we have anyone around maybe for a potential pallet save, and there's no decisive strike to be had.
No D-slapping, no pallet dropping, nothing. So we will be seeing Nancy get back on the hook, but that was not in vain. We do see another gen pop. So we've only got 2 gens remaining now. I'm not quite sure of the plans here from our killer. We're going to break a couple of pallets around the general area and then consider our options. We do have 1 gen incredibly far away across the other side of the map, but we do have a nice little 3 gen with a hook right in the middle of it. So it wouldn't surprise me if the rest of the game is probably going to be played out in this area that we're in.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be tough because right now, if you have to realize, right, like we've got Genesis with the set point number 1 already down. You've got a really solid start, I would say, here to your Blight performance. You would like to not allow an elimination here before the end game. And with this tight of a 3 gen, it is going to require 2 survivors, of course. Well, I should say, first off, it's going to require 2 survivors to come in for the save. So with this type of 3 gen, that is going to mean a really big difference with 3 stacks of Thanatophobia, or you just have a simple 1-for-1. Good body block, though, to be able to not allow Nancy too far of a distance to be allowed to be built into the 4-lane. Nancy now trying to make it to the shack, going to be going down in the pallet space here. I think that was a thing. We had seen her around jolting through the window.
Oh, no!
Swinging through the pallet space to avoid the stun. This is going to be an elimination in the basement here.
We say goodbye to Nancy and hello to another stack of Thanatophobia. And we say goodbye to the progress on the gen as it gets popped. We're now in a tough spot where we have got a Blight on Gas Heaven in a 3-gen situation. 3 survivors left. Pop goes the Weasel, Thanatophobia, Call of Brine. I think we might be needing to go and get a drink and a blankie for this one. What do you reckon, Q?
Yeah, there's a good chance that we could be here for a little bit, especially because our survivors are going to be feeling that thanatophobia effect, so they're going to want to reset even more. So you've got such a tight 3-gen here that there's really no reason for our Blight to overcommit too much, even with the ability running the double speed add-ons to close distance between you and a survivor being at obviously, you know, an all-time high for a Blight compared to really anyone else. But now here, what we are going to see is a hook again, smack dab in the middle of your 3-gen.
Yeah, it's a really nice hook for the killer, but for the survivors, it's a tough one. Against a Blight as well, it's going to be really difficult in this scenario. If you're caught on the gen, if you don't leave early enough, there's only so far that you can get with such a high mobility killer and the double speed add-ons as well. So it's going to be really difficult, even if the survivors pre-leave these gens as the Blight is coming whilst they're working on them. There's really not too much distance that they're going to be able to get, and I think we may be seeing a lot of downs in this general area unless someone can really pull a pro Jukalooper move and take Talbot Grimes away.
It is worth noting, though, because we have seen and talked about the pop at this point, but we didn't choose to get pop value here. And I don't know if we were aware of a survivor that was just lurking in the shadows hoping for you to go try and get pop so you can get a quick save. Maybe that was the case, but that is some regression that we were missing out on. And granted, we do still have 5% slowdown from the thanatophobia thanks to the injured state here on Meg, but and it's actually, you can see this gen has a lot of progress. See, this is what I'm talking about, right? Like that gen wasn't far from the hook. I don't know, this is gonna be interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of decision making as well when it comes to killer. Do you force death and not get that pop value? I mean, that may have been the decision that they were making. Do I regress the gen or do I go for a death? We do see a really nice dodge there and a big pallet causing him to say,
"Get stunned, stupid!" Just in time. I think you actually would have got like just the back end of the pixel of a hit there.
Yeah, that was incredibly close. Incredibly close.
Now
So we're now down to 2v1 in the 3-gen.
Oh! Able to get the down here. So this is going to be where things are interesting. It does look like, of course, the sweaty killer going for the slug for the 4K. We're going to be finding the Fang here really quick here in the middle of the map, and we are probably going to just see our Blight try and force a mistake. I was going to say hanging out in the pallet space, but instead going right around. We also see an Unbreakable across the way from the Megan, which is going to cause our killer to break back over here and make sure that we're protecting this gen as we hear it has a whole bunch of progress.
Yeah, there's a lot of progress on here again. Like the decision making required from our killers, it's very difficult. It's very stressful for them. Midgey's now in the position where he needs to decide. Does he
get stunned, stupid?
Does he force regression on the gen? Does he commit to a chase to get the down? Does he slug for the 4K? So much to think about here. So a really good, oh, wowzers! Back to the 3-gen area. We should see Bulba on the gen.
No.
On the gen once again. That gen is so incredibly close. Unfortunately, Bulba was pushed off. We had Dixie use Unbreakable just before, so we won't be seeing that again. Going for some hug tech exploiting here. Unfortunately, doesn't get the hit. Bulba doing what he does best and running main. There should be a few resources left here, if not a very wonderful window that he can use. We'll have a look at Bulba's chase, but I think this may be the end.
Yeah, I mean, this looks like it's really just more a matter of when than a matter of if here. I mean, this is the main building. It is a stronger tile. I think right now what you are hoping for is you're hoping to allow the slug across the map to be able to find themselves into a place where maybe you can force a bleed out, starve our killer here of a couple of points, because otherwise we're looking at a dominant performance here from Genesis, who, I mean, if we're being perfectly honest, might just be, Genesis might be trying to earn themselves a chance at what?
Sorry.
What?
He has released himself from the hook. In front of our very eyes. The game continues.
And this, it's the deliverance here, which means you could be potentially setting up for, one last, 1v1 here. I was gonna say maybe even for an end game play, but there's still quite a bit of bleed out timer left on your other survivor across the way. But here's where things get interesting, because right now, wait, why didn't we just pick up the one survivor? You don't have to worry about DS, right?
I think maybe he's concerned that he's lost the slug.
Oh, and Dixie is fresh hook. So if you hook Dixie, you have plenty of hook timer left. Yeah, plenty of hang time.
Yeah.
Compared to, obviously, if you hook Bulba, Bulba could just allow, the two skill checks to pass by on quote unquote accident or whatever, and allow for the end game to start. So that makes sense. But that's going to be the fresh hook here, and that does mean the 4K here at 4 gens complete. I know it's easy to say from this side of the desk, but that does mean that all Genesis survivors has to do is come out and simply complete the gens.
Complete the gens, yeah, which is a really easy win con to go by, and it wouldn't surprise me if they work their strategy and their game plan around completing the gens. We may see people left to second stage and things like that just to get the gens done, knowing that that is the win condition. You don't really have to worry too much about the stages, you just have to worry about completing those gens.
Yeah, and of course it does also mean, with the win condition being simply complete the gens, you don't have to worry about no ed and things like that, because if you get to the end game, like, the condition has already been met there. So we are going to be seeing Genesis taking the lead in trial number 1 of our second set with a score of 24-8 here. Really putting the pressure here down onto Endless here, who would really like to get redemption, I would imagine, onto GreensTeam, who they had faced earlier today. But before that, they're going to need to really turn things around, as Genesis at this point is 1 trial away from advancing to the finals here. So we will be back with trial number 4 after a very quick break. All right, let's take another trip on back into the fog, on very familiar territory for us today, back on the gas heaven here, and our killer for Endless really finding the pressure you're needing right off the bat, because really it all comes down to this and being able to get it down before even 30 seconds into this trial. Gots to have you feeling good. And this hook here, kind of in the back corner of the map, kind of on the edge of the corrupt the uncorrupt part of the map, kind of buried in the back corner. So not a bad situation to start off with.
No, I feel like he loaded in and instantly found a survivor, and then, within 2 blinks and a welcome to the game, he was on a hook. So a really nice start here for Broken on the Blight. Again, we are looking for 5 generators to be completed That's what we want, and I'm pretty sure that Broken is going to do everything in his power to stop that from happening, as you can see by his Ruin, his Corrupt, and of course his Undying.
Yeah, unfortunately, though, the Undying has already been broken here. So one of those perks already removed. 90 seconds of the 120 seconds of value from the second perk here, which will leave us to having just 2 perks to lean on for the rest of the trial, or at least until that unfortunate sound right there, which is the sound of the Ruin now being cleansed, which means you've got to really step up the pace when it comes to accumulating these hook states here. Yeah, you're getting a lot of entered states, but hooks are what's needed.
That's right, Q. Without the Natophobia, whilst the hits are good, it's a lot of pressure, but we're not getting any value from these tags. So we are going to be looking for hooks and downs and a bit of collision as well by the looks of things. We'll be looking for that. Broken now being forced to dry kick the gens as he has lost his main points of regression, his Ruin and Undying both leaving. The survivors are committing to this Shack gen. They will be taking a hit around there and heading on out quick smart, but Corrupt is over, so the survivors are really free to work on whichever gen they want.
Yeah, and it's interesting, you mentioned with whichever gen you want, right? Because we do see a couple of survivors choosing to stay injured, which leads me to believe we've got survivors splitting up across the board, knowing that all they need to do is simply complete these gens. We are going to see, though, hook state number 2 is going to be dead smack dab in the middle of our map here. We have already dropped some of our resources in the middle, as well as over in that middle shack side of the map, as we do see another plus 10 wood applied to the forehead of our killer here, trying to see if we can make it over to this other tile. Not going to be the case. This is another down. Only 1 gen completed thus far, and this is going to be another hook state here. This is actually going to be hook stage number 3. This is another fresh hook, though, so that does mean that the Nia does happen to have some hang time, no NBA, if they want to, but a very beautiful hit down here in the middle. And just honestly right now, this is some amazing blight play by Broken.
Yeah, we're just going from hook to hook to hook, and I know we've said how many times, just do 5 gens, simply do the gens. It's not looking like Broken is allowing it to be that easy for our survivor team. We do see Seabass using Deliverance to get himself off the hook, as we see generator number 2 get completed. We are going to be popping this generator in main, so we do have the backup pop. As you can see, a full regression build from Broken. No chase perks, no end game perks, full gen regression. However, with the Ruin and Undying being gone, that does leave him with only Pop Goes the Weasel. We will be finding a new chase now with what looks to be our Nia heading over to Shack. I don't think there's really any gens in this area, so it's a nice place to take chase into the locker.
Yeah, here's the question. Was that a bait out or no? She slaps him with the D. Let's go. Build some extra distance. And only 3 gens needing to be complete here. Every second counts, especially as we see survivors staying injured across the board, which leads me to believe that they are split up, just trying to simply complete the gens. But down goes the Nia.
Broken is doing such a good job. These chases are so short. So much pressure is being applied here. We do see another gen pop, which obviously alerts him to the location of some survivors. But with having only Pop Goes the Weasel left, he really wants to make sure he's getting that value and regressing the gens, which he does on this one, which it looks to be so close. So he will be saying goodbye to the progress on that gen and hello to this survivor who will be running main. Broken doesn't really want to deal with it. He does do a crack mind game, showing the back of the whole of main, getting another down there. This is literally just hook to hook to hook. Really incredible Talbot Grimes gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, Broken's doing a good job of keeping up the pressure as far as the hooks, but as we do see here from Team Genesis doing a excellent job on the pressure as far as the gens. Now at the tie condition of 4 generators complete. We see those 3 gens outlined in the red across the bar, across the way there, quite a bit away, honestly, from where this chase is being taken. We'll also notice that the unhook is only just now coming in, which leads me to believe at least one survivor is just simply vibing on a gen, and it won't be too long until we see
Where?
generator number 5.
Where is it? Where are they? We do see an unhook here. Here is
Oh.
a survivor. Here is scratch marks. Here's a progress gen. We do miss the tree. Just a little blight moment there. Will we pop this gen? We will be popping this gen. Surely heading on over to the Nia. I'm not sure now if the play is to check all of the gens. Never mind. It is take the down. We do see the final gen pop. Q, what's it mean?
This is tough because that means that Genesis here is going to be moving on through our tournament. That is enough stages. That's enough gens done. That's all you needed. Even though Broken coming out here having a phenomenal game here for Endless. I mean, you're talking about 2 eliminations here. You're already at 8 stages. Probably going to get at least one more elimination. Or sorry, yeah, one elimination. Probably looking at getting a second one in the end game here. It's a very strong performance. It's just unfortunately Genesis, one, had a very strong killer performance, and then we're able to come out on the survivor side as well.
Yeah, really, really well played from both sides. You could see just how hard these guys were trying to make sure they were playing tomorrow night. Broken's performance, as you said, Q, absolutely incredible. Really, really well played. So many stages, short chases. Unfortunately, the gens they were just completed. Really well played by our survivors in order to do that. We do see resilience. We do see kinship, the standard builds really. So I don't think that they tailored their builds or anything really to kind of make sure that they just got the gens done. I think they were just playing to win, and we certainly saw that.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting here because that does set the stage as we are now going to now we know as far as for our finals here, we're going to have Genesis versus GreensTeam, and that is going to be tomorrow, same time, correct? I know I am not here for it, but I think it's the same time, right? 7 p.m.
It is
Sydney time?
7 p.m. tomorrow, Easter Sunday. Bring your chocolate bunnies. Bring your snacks. It's gonna be a really good night.
Yeah, and I anticipate with the as close as the matchups have been tonight, and even really as we had seen throughout this weekend here, I anticipate that tomorrow should also be another banger. But that does spell the end of the tournament for Endless. Really good job by Endless, honestly, throughout the course of this tournament. Definitely isn't going to be the last time that we see from them. I anticipate they're going to want to return and get some revenge here in the upcoming events. But honestly, I guess that does it as far as for us for some esports here in OCE for the day. Big shout out to everyone for coming out, hanging out with Barn and I. Always a pleasure, Barn, to get to cast with you. Your energy is so amazing. It's always such a pleasure. So I appreciate you.
And we appreciate you waking up for us so early. So thank you. It's always a good time on the desk with Q. We also need to thank Trovo for sponsoring our tournaments, as well as Dead by Esports. Join the Discord for OC Comp and Scrims and Tourneys. Join the Discord for DBE. Get involved. Create your Trovo account so you can farm the mana and stay safe. We will be back, as Q said, tomorrow at 7 p.m. to find out who will win the best of 5 grand finals. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm going to say goodbye to you all, and I hope that you all stay safe until we all see each other again tomorrow at 7. This is the Wilted Rose Tournament, and I'm Barn, and you're all wonderful. Speak soon.
clear. Clear? No? Maybe? Possibly? Hello?
It's bad.
Lobo?
Lobo?
This is a bit awkward, isn't it?
Clip it, chat. Clip it.
Alright, this is what we'll do, right? We'll all just spam her in DMs until she wakes up.
No, stop. There's no way.
I think so.
No way. Lobo.
Unfortunately, the gameplay was not entertaining enough for Lobo to stay awake. So we are in a small pickle here where our streamer is unable to end the stream. So we're going to be playing the grand finals right now. I'm just kidding. Okay, can someone please call Lobo and wake her up and ask her to end the stream? Asking for a friend.
Please asking for
Help
a friend.
us. Set us free.
Lobo! Oh no. Not like this.
Q, you're in America. Can't you just go to her house and wake her up?
Yeah. I'll fucking jump in my fucking car and I'll be there tomorrow. I'll make sure she's good to go for the stream. No, not like this. That's connected, bro.
If you ain't show something, you just don't wanna be. You wanna be me, but you will never be as fresh as see you.